Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Bigson. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now, and there it is in green. You're green for money, right, Mike?
Oh, well, you hope so, my friend. How you doing, Aldo? It's been a while. You know, we do our special things here, and I said, baby, it's time. It's the Masters, especially for us shut-ins. You know what I mean? You got the Masters. You got baseball today. I don't know if there's going to be a Cub game. I know I was out earlier. It's a little miserable out there right now. Yeah. We're going to have some totals today. We're going to have the Masters. Who's going to win? Who's not going to win? You know, the Tiger tees off. I think it's 10:04. There's been some delay because of the weather, but they had the honorary deal today with Nicholas Watson and Player. So where they teed off, they were the honorary starters. So it's all good. It's all good. Like I said earlier, you know, we wake up in the morning, we feel good, and this is a true story. Take a good look at Tom Watson.
Okay.
He looks like, if I put a cap on, okay,
oh my
there's
goodness.
a likeness.
Yes.
I was at the Harris restaurant back in 1985, 86 on Kedzie and Irving with my wife having breakfast. We used to live on Whipple and Belle Plaine.
Oh, cool.
The Western Open was in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in there wearing like a golf type of shirt. Look at him. Take a look at him.
Yeah, he looks just like you, man.
I'm telling you. And I'm sitting in the booth with BB. I ordered my all familiar BLT with extra mayo. I'll never forget it, with fries and an extra helping of coleslaw. Back in the day, we lived vicariously. You know, we just went nuts. And a person comes up to me and they go, Mr. Watson, may I have your... No, I correct myself. May I have your autograph? This is before the radio, before anything else. I go, sure, Mike North. And I gave it to him. I had no idea. Then he goes, oh, I thought you were Tom Watson. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't think I'd be sitting here right now if I was Tom Watson. So those were some good memories. And now the Masters, I mean, we've been... Even if you don't like golf, everybody watches the Masters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could end up being like, do you remember the movie with Glenn Ford where he played Ben Hogan, Dust in the Sun, I think it was called. And it chronicled when Ben Hogan had that horrible car accident, and he goes back out and starts training slowly but surely, and he gets his legs back enough to go to the U.S. Open and win the doggone thing. Wouldn't you love to see Tiger to do that?
Well, yeah, you would. I do get tired of people saying if he comes back and wins, it would be a phenomenal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, it would be, but it's not the first guy. Some guy said it would be the all-time great comeback. Ben Hogan had his legs crushed, had his pelvis broken.
Yeah.
And then he had the walk. And that's what we'll talk about today with Tiger, because the weather's been bad.
Right.
And I'm hearing, well, he played 9, the par 3 with Charlie. He also played some practice rounds. Well, when you are in competition and you want to keep winning, and he's still out to catch Jack Nicklaus, folks. Don't ever kid yourself. That's what drives him.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Jack's the greatest of all time. And if Tiger wants to be in the discussion, okay, you can't be down 18-15 when you're the guy who set that bar. He said way back in the day, you're based on majors. Great golfer. I admire him for even being on the course.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's almost like, for instance, I'm going to tell everybody what I'm going to probably do today.
Okay.
There's a lot of Cam Smith love because he won the last tournament. He looked tremendous. And the bottom line is, it's going to be tough for him because he took time off after that, hasn't played a round since. So I might bet against him in a matchup round. But this is where I get in my quandary because of my honesty. And where many people get in trouble because of their love for somebody. It happens all the time. That's fine. But there's no way in hell I can put minus 120 on Tiger making the cut. There isn't. And it's nothing against Tiger.
Right.
See, people make that mistake with me with Mitch Trubisky and Justin Field. I have nothing against Justin Field. It's all business with me. I think Trubisky's the better guy. That's all. I don't want Justin Field to fall on his face. If the Bears go 18-0, we'll all have heart attacks. But if they do, that's what you want. This isn't against Tiger. This is business. Everybody thinks he's going to make the cut. Everybody. So I'm going to do what I usually do. I checked everything out. The other day, he's limping during a practice round. That doesn't mean he can't make the cut.
Right.
Well, I'm going to probably bet. Well, not probably. I'm going to bet after long deliberation because of how great he is and because of what he did the last time at the Masters that he won when I didn't think he'd ever win again. So it's a perfect storm. If I lose plus 102, good for you, Tiger. I'm going to root for you. Okay, now it's on. But he's like 45-1 to win this thing. Now, here's what I would do. You bet it now at 45-1. If you think Tiger's going to win. Or bet him top 10. Whatever you can get on DraftKings, Bovada, or what have you. Because if he gets off to a hot start, the first 9 holes, let's say, he plays -1, -2, that 45-1's going down.
Yeah.
Because they're terrified. But what makes me take the fact that he won't make the cut. Or, and I told my guy already, it's not does he or does he not make the cut? Does he play Saturday? Because he could make the cut and pull out Saturday because maybe he hurt himself.
Right.
So I clarified that with my guy.
Okay.
I said, but I don't know how they're going to do it. If he makes the cut and doesn't play on Saturday, I still think you got to get paid because you bet him to make the cut.
Absolutely. I mean, officially he made the cut, so I wouldn't. I wouldn't
That's
argue.
what I would go by. But not every house nowadays is on the up and up. Oh, he didn't play on Saturday. Well, no. But here's another thing. What happens if tomorrow he wakes up and his back is bad or his knee blows up?
Right.
And he can't play. He ain't gonna. He's disqualified. Now, make the cut or not make the cut.
Oh, you hit the mute button again, Mike. He's got that mic and the mute button. No, not yet. There you go.
So what I was saying is that it's very hard to bet him because of health reasons. That's all. I'll tell you what, though. I admire the guy. It took a lot of hard work. Everybody knows that. And I never thought that he'd be in a spot where he'd be playing this year. Because he should have been killed. I mean, really. After you look at the car and everything else, he's got somebody watching over him because there's a lot of people that don't survive that crash.
My goodness. I mean, I thought he would never swing the clubs again based on all the reports and looking at that video of how terrible that car looked after the crash. And you're absolutely right. He I think is going to get off to a good start, but the pain, the conditions, that soft grass because of the rain and the hilly course there. I've never played at Augusta, but everybody says it's a very hilly course to walk. So I'd be surprised if he plays all 4 rounds.
That's a great take because you brought up the hill. There's a hill every 10 feet, little hill, big hill, side hill.
Exactly.
Okay, slippery hill now because of the rain. And they have good drainage. I mean, my God. And I want to give the Masters all the credit in the world. They sort of had the reputation almost tarnished back in the day with Martha Burke. I mean, I remember that nonsense. I mean, people wanted Michelle Wie to play in the Masters, and I remember being against it. Even back then, I took a lot of heat for saying she doesn't deserve to play at the Masters. Maybe set something else up, and now they have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have their own tournament,
Right.
and they have the pitch putt. They've done so much. And I was stationed in Augusta in 1972. Big time Southern town,
Mm-hmm.
big time fence around it. Not whole. We weren't even invited. If we walked, you can't come in here. We're servicemen, you can't come in here.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've done, what the Masters has done to that town, and refurbished and built medical centers and everything else, the town, from what I understand, don't even look the same anymore. So they know they got the premier, one of the top 5 premier sporting events, I think, in the United States. And they've reinvested into the community. So I got to give them a lot of credit on that.
That's good to hear. That is good to hear.
Yep.
All right, let's talk a little baseball right now. Right?
Yes!
We've got Don Burr is in Detroit, and he has wrote this. Detroit, let's go Tigers.
Well, I got some bad news for you, Don. I'm taking we might as well start right off the bat. First of all, the Detroit Tigers and then a lion cap all together. That's rough. I'm going to say this: the under 78.5. Here's what I'm hearing, Don, from my baseball people in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a guy that just called me out of nowhere. So from Detroit.
Works at the auto repair.
Yeah. Work at Jimmy's on 38. Here's what I'm hearing. They're a year away.
Mm-hmm.
They're still young. AJ Hinch. Last year, they surprised at 77, 78 wins. But here's what gave me the deal to go under on this team.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they won 77 and they're only going to win another game and a half from last year. I just looked at that. I said, and then I heard from somebody, all kidding aside, they're a year away. Like, okay, so I'll take the under on that. As far as the White Sox are concerned, a lot of people don't like the over 91, 92. I'm not sure if I'll take it or not. I would lean over, only because the rest of the division is horrible. Now, Cleveland signed Manny Ramirez. That was a big signing for them. They lose him. My God, they're in big trouble, even bigger trouble than they are now. They do have some pitching. I think Detroit's a year away, and I see that people are thinking, including me this year, that maybe last year for Minnesota was an aberration. I look at the 79.5, though, of over and unders for Minnesota. Aldo's going, Jesus Christ, this guy really prepared. He's doing this.
I am.
79.5. Got a lot of time on my hands. 79.5. And Sonny Gray's their main guy. You know what I mean? Their pitching looks horrible. I think the White Sox, with their middle of the road guys, they got question marks at pitching, folks. After Lance Lynn gets hurt, you got maybe 2 dependable starters, Giolito,
right?
But he could blow up at any time.
Yeah.
But Keuchel, Velasquez, and the fact that they don't play real good defense, in my opinion, means they're going to have to score 5 runs a game, 4 to 5 runs a game. I think they can do that. I think that's why the total's so high. I still think 91, 92 is a high total. I'd probably stay away from this one and wouldn't bet it at all. But I'd probably lean the over because the rest of the division, I mean, they got Dylan Bundy on Minnesota, you know? and this is Mule Skinner, God bless him. AJ Pollock was a great pickup.
Yeah.
But, you know, Lance Lynn is panicked White Sox fans. Here's what should panic you. Is Cease going to get it done? Kopech, are those guys going to get it done? You know? So I really think this is a stay away for me, but I think they win the division. I do. And if they don't, it will be because of injuries or maybe and last year they had injuries. You know what nobody's talking about this year, folks? How old Tony La Russa is. That is gone. This is the type of manager you need when you have a situation like they have. They're going to hopefully hold water until Lynn gets back. Somebody's got to step up. Who's it going to be? I like Cease. I like some of the stuff he's got. He's got another year under his belt. let's see what happens.
Yeah, I got to follow up on La Russa here, but first, Matthew Fulchisi is over at the DMV, and he's got this show on. And he says everyone at the DMV is hearing Uncle North.
Yeah, baby,
North.
DMV.
I love it. I love it.
DMV, baby, which means here's $20. Pass me. Yes. Those were the old days. You can't do that no more.
No. All right. So last year you were a huge proponent of Tony La Russa managing the White Sox. The results were good. Maybe not good enough, but there were a lot of injuries, and so you can't blame Tony on that. What are your expectations for Tony in terms of, like, what is the basement level? He definitely needs to get to the playoffs, but if he doesn't make it to the World Series, do you then start considering who his successor is?
I don't think so, Aldo. I don't think you look for a successor. I think if there's a disaster like Minnesota had last year with Rocco Baldelli, where they came in out of shape, Minnesota, they never got their feet under them. Baldelli looked lost in the dugout. And what I mean, Sano looked like he put on 30 pounds. You know, Donaldson didn't help a whole lot. He started crap with the White Sox. It only pissed him off. I like La Russa. I like that he, adjusts game to game. He manages every game to win. And I think that he can win. He's one of the few managers that can take an average baseball team and make it better. There's not a whole lot of I think Buck Showalter's like that. I think that was a great hire by the Mets. There's a couple other managers like that. Francona. That's why you got to be worried about them a little bit. But the rest, I think it goes as their talent goes, So I do like the fact that La Russa proved himself, apparently, because it would almost sound silly now to criticize him after what happened last year. And they didn't have the best team. They didn't. They didn't have the best team. But if they got an extra, I expect them to either win the division or get in the wild card for sure.
Yeah. And
if they just missed the wild card, if they have injuries, there's always excuses. We know that from being in this town forever.
Right.
But he's no manager is more closely watched than Tony La Russa in Chicago. Nobody. Yep. They wait for him to trip and fall no matter what.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And last season, the first half of the season, there were little mistakes. There was a rule that he didn't know and things like that. Yeah. And so that's what I'm looking for as a Sox fan, is for him to eliminate those errors. And so there's no criticism of his managing whatsoever. Yeah, you can question the decision. I should have pulled this guy. I should have pulled that guy. But some of these egregious errors, look at that word, egregious. I'm not even sure I'm using it correctly. But
it's a nice town, egregious, the town of egregious. Where no man walks out.
That's right.
They only walk in.
That's in Eastern Europe right now. So
wow, you got that right.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible what's going on over there. Oh god.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but so hopefully none of those errors happen with La Russa and like King Pookie Nation is saying in the chat room, they got to stay healthy. Can Eloy Jimenez stay healthy? That's a huge thing. These guys seem to get hurt, picking up a baseball.
Well, also picking up the baseball, they seem to get hurt trying to pick it up. I don't, I've never bought in fully to Moncada, and I know I should look at his numbers and everything. And I look at him make nice plays too. I don't know, maybe because Chris Sale, it was for Chris Sale at the time,
right?
But I love their team, and he's proven himself to me. He's been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I just find it hard to believe, unless the bottom of the rotation, 4 and 5, plus the fact they can't always pick up the baseball. Their outfield. Let's face it, folks. Eloy should be the DH. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to put him in left field. Okay, fine. Got a lot of ground to cover for Robert. Robert's got to stay healthy. I think he's too muscle bound. I really do. I think in baseball, you need some flexibility. John Kruk has a 300 career batting average. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that.
Check it out just to make sure. I want to see if I still got what I had back in the 90s. Go ahead. I came up with the top of my head. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think John Kruk, all 215 pounds of fat to him, I think that
yes. I'm still looking. Go ahead.
He's quick on that thing today. It's been lack of practice.
Yeah, it's definitely lack of practice.
But resting on your laurels.
They have so many stats now. OBP, SLG.
Which
OPS.
mean nothing to me. Like Andre Dawson said and Billy Williams, we played for batting average first.
Mhm.
If you tell a guy your OPPS or your WGA is 250 or 1,000, he goes, yeah, what did I hit? But you hit 220? It's embarrassing.
You're absolutely
You're
right.
walking around bragging that you're a 220 hitter? No. You want to walk around like Rod Carew going, I had a bad year. I hit 315.
You're absolutely right, Mike. He finished his career exactly at 300 batting average.
Folks, this is what I do. That's why people go, Mike, they try to knock me off the pedestal. They can't. Because I guarantee you nobody in America knows John Crooks is a career 300 hitter.
That's right.
That's what I do. I sit alone, look out the window and gaze while I read. That's it.
That's funny.
Wow.
I like what Mule says here about La Russa. He says La Russa, even at 80% of his old self, is better than the majority of managers in the league. That is so true. I mean, I forget that sometimes when I'm critical of Tony.
Well, yeah, especially since Rick Renteria was a good guy. I think he deserves to manage in the major league somewhere.
I'm with you.
You're going to tell me a young team couldn't use a guy like that? He's bilingual. He speaks Spanish and English. The guy seems to have a gauge on things. But for some reason, if you're a former White Sox manager, it's hard to get rehired.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Leland was never the manager of the White Sox. He left as a coach to become the manager of the Pirates. But Renteria should be a manager. I've seen some of the managers in baseball, and I'm going to go to bat for this guy. He did pretty good on both sides of town, getting things ready to go. So if I had a young team, I would definitely interview Rick. I definitely would.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Cubs momentarily, but a little bit more on the White Sox here. Tomorrow is their opener. It's Lucas Giolito on the mound and Eduardo Rodriguez. That should be a nice pitching matchup, a right-hander versus the left-hander. You got any thoughts on this opening day game up in Detroit?
Yeah. Lucas, listen. I'm betting Detroit under. Just take care of business.
I love it.
Get ahead of the game. Get ahead of the game. Don't go walk in there like you are the best team in the division and know it. And I think that's what La Russa gives you. Now you got AJ Hinch. I want them to lose every game because he's a cheater, fixer. But he's a good manager. We'll see. But like I said, I have heard that they're 1 year away. Bingo.
Yeah, there you go. That should be a great series to start things off. Let's turn our attention over to the Cubs because, as you said, the weather conditions over there are terrible. I looked it up this morning. Let's see. I think I wrote something here. I guess not. Oh, there it is. Near 47 degrees at first pitch, winds gusting 25 to 30 miles an hour, and it could even snow.
Let me tell you something. Some of the coldest days of my life were spent in the right field side upper deck.
That's where you were selling beer, right? Or hot dogs?
Well, yeah, but even before then, we'd go to the ball game. We'd pay our way in, or we'd have somebody toss a ticket stub down. We'd get in. We'd go up to the top on a cold day. And that wind off that lake would always blow at us.
Would
always blow in.
Oh, man.
Some of the BB tells me, I mean, she went to, I think, every Cub game as a bleacher bump. She was I can only imagine the amount of men that bumped into her, but that's beside the point with those stupid construction caps. My guy Mike Murphy was the bugler. People don't know that Murph was the guy. There's a reason there's a point on the wall because Mike used to walk it, folks. And even in the bleachers, if the sun wasn't out, opening day, you froze to death.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
And we sat through the whole game, man. Everybody did. And
well, you had a lot of space, right? You had a lot of space because they weren't selling out back then, right?
Well, you know what? You did have a lot of elbow room. And I'll say this. Me and Jiggets did the very first remote from, all these stations do remotes now, Carmen and Yerk and Cap and all the guys. And we did the very first remote, I think, 92 or 93 from the 7-Eleven at right there on Sheffield and Addison. And Ron, it was great. I go, Ronnie Woo Woo came up, our first guest.
Ah, nice.
You know?
Nice.
Hi, Ronnie, how you doing? Beckert, woo, Santo, woo, Buckner, woo, woo. Oh, those were the days.
Well,
that's where I got in the fight with Ozzy from High Tops on opening day.
Is that right? Remind us how
not opening day. It was when the Cubs played the Sox. Yeah.
Remind us how that fight with Ozzy Guillen.
I don't like to. It's just, trying to clean myself up a little bit.
Okay.
I know that. I do know this, that Ozzy Guillen, he won a World Series.
Yes.
He's another guy. Okay. We can let go of maybe we don't let go of the Venezuela thing. They seem to be cropping back up in the news lately.
Yeah.
But a lot of people held it against them because of the Castro stuff and everything else.
Right.
Take it from somebody who knows. Listen, how old are you going to hold a grudge for the guy? Come on.
Yeah.
He made a mistake. I think he's paid for it. Nobody's going to tell me he likes doing the TV more than being a manager. I know that's what he wants. Let it go. Yeah. All I keep hearing is this country's the most forgiving country. And all I see is a lot of people that don't get that second chance. Ozzy Guillen, and then he went to Miami, and that stained him with the Cuban community. Yeah. But I think now, my God, let's go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, no, I can't think of a guy out there who deserves a shot more at managing than.
And I didn't like it. I didn't like it when he did it. Nobody's more patriotic than me. I didn't like it. I thought it was a mistake.
Yeah.
But you know what? He should be a manager. We were just talking about Rick Renteria.
Exactly.
Look at some of the managers. Just watch some of these managers on some of these teams.
That's a good topic to do. Yeah.
That's a topic for another day for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wait. You're going to tell me? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get Cub fans pissed off, but I'm going to. I said I'd hire Ozzy Guillen, not Ross. Okay? They got a better chance of winning with him. But will Ozzy ever get the opportunity to let people know that's not all about him? Yeah. I think sometimes what happened was because of friction upstairs, he was battling back and forth. He said things that would sting. Believe me, folks, I know about saying things that sting people in power.
Yeah.
And they say, it's no big deal. Except it's the fifth one he's done. They count. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And they keep score. And I think that's what's hurt him. So he's got to be able, it's like Ron LaFleur made an error on opening day once. And he was a great fielder, but he was tagged as a lousy fielder because on opening day he made an error. You know? So you got to give somebody like Ozzy Guillen another opportunity.
King Pookie Nation Alvarez says that he looks like Fidel Castro, and I have to agree with that. I met him in person, and he's got pictures of him wearing the Castro beard. King Pookie Nation Alvarez might be related to Fidel Castro.
That's great. Don't put that on your business card.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, he was a former pitcher.
That's
he was a former pitcher.
He loved baseball.
Fidel Castro was a former pitcher.
That's right.
And then things got maybe got carried away a little bit. Yeah.
You think? Hey, I was listening to a sportscaster on the radio. I forgot who it was, but he was propositioning that the Cubs should just drop Hayward. That contract, just take the loss, get him off the roster. He's done what he was supposed to do, help the team make the World Series, win the World Series, and so forth. He's making so much money. It's kind of like a big. These are my words, not his. It's kind of like a big pimple right on your nose, that he's on the roster. And he's the subject of a lot of jokes. Mule Skinner says, I gather Hayward will be starting in center. Ugh. I mean, that guy, he's plays defensively really well, but hitting, man, you can't count on him.
I think he's a good clubhouse guy. They feel that the contract's cheap now.
Yeah.
He's got a young ball club around him. You got new guys. You got Suzuki. You got Madrigal from the White Sox, which I still don't understand. I think he would have been a family favorite on the other side of town, but things, worked out. So I still think they got a lot of Horner. They got some young guys. The Bryants are gone because they wanted too much money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I contend if they were paying Bryant and Javi and even Rizzo, who are all idiots, they had it made here.
Yeah.
Okay, they had it made here. Rizzo's another guy in New York. Bryant's gonna long for the days after Colorado wins 65 ball games that he was back at Wrigley Field where people actually held him in high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And Javi's going to be in that pressure cooker of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? These guys are going to find out what it was like to be a Cub compared to everybody else. Because in some of these places, they don't like striking out. They don't like players that they'll let you know. They'll let you know if you ain't playing well. And the pressure and stuff like that. But if they were all making 60, 70,000, I mean 70 million, they'd all be on the team still.
Yeah.
There was all 200. I mean, Bryant, everybody's going, look, he got 187 million. He wanted 300 million. Now he's going to go to Colorado. Now, he's never hit 40 homers. If you go to Colorado and you can't hit 40 homers, you weren't worth the money.
Yeah.
You weren't worth the money.
With you.
I mean, you got to be able, and they're total 67. They're a lousy baseball team. Same with Detroit. I don't know what happened, but I think like the Bears, I've said this before, Mack and Trubisky gone. I think you could have kept them retooled. I think the same thing with the Cubs. Maybe get a manager in there that would be tougher than Dave Ross, who I always said was never going to be able to tell Rizzo what to do, Baez what to do, or Bryant what to do, because they would say to him, you were nothing before we made you our mascot. So how are you going to tell Rizzo when he used to jog to first to work hard and get your ass down there? That's where they made their first mistake with the hire. And that's why their win total is only 74. I think if you have a better manager, you can win more games with this team. I mean, Milwaukee, they're the favorite. Their total's 89 wins. Okay? The Cubs got the same problem as the Sox. The bottom half of that, or is Alec Mills and Wade Miley. Milwaukee's pretty sharp. They don't let guys just roll.
Yeah.
So it's once again defense and pitching. I like the Cubs defense. I think Hayward is important to have defensively out there. I'm not going to get bent out of shape because they held on to one of these guys. The cheapest one of all, though, and the one that really didn't produce at the bat the way they wanted him to.
Yeah. Mike, I got to tell you, I actually saw a vein popping out of your neck when you were in that rant there. That was pretty impressive.
It almost makes it sound like I'm a Cub fan, doesn't it?
How many years did you sell stuff over at Wrigley Field?
Time of my life.
Yeah. What was it?
Time of my life. I'll never forget it. I worked with Barry Rosner was a vendor.
Wow.
Michael Damsky, former head sales guy at the Score. A lot of the guys, they're still. I remember 10 years ago, I went to a ball game. There were still guys I worked with still working.
Are you serious?
Back in the 70s, yeah, 50 years.
Wow.
Some of these guys, I know there's a guy named Ronnie, a good friend of mine back in the day. What was his last name? We called him the Pirate. He's still there. I mean, these guys are in their 70s.
That's amazing.
So it was a good time for 2-3 years. I met a couple nice ladies in the stands back in my younger days.
Nice.
I think of one once in a while. She got away. But I ended up better off with B.
Yes,
see how I cleaned that up?
She's listening.
Oh, God bless her. God bless her. I wouldn't even know how to hook this thing up. I wouldn't even be talking right now. So that was a good time. And selling Cokes and walking around. I mean, they used to sit in 69. They sat on the stairs.
Yeah.
41,000. The place holds 38. I work for 3,000. Mike's trying to get through on the stairs with the Cokes. They had to move out of the way. People sat on the stairs, people standing room, everything else. Magical time. Yeah. And it was the hottest summer. 69. In 1969, from like June, I'd say till like August 30th, it had to be on the average 94, 95 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that season scarred me for life.
Oh God, I'm still thinking that and DePaul.
Yeah.
The DePaul.
Oh yeah.
Demons.
Russ Meyer team. Yes,
The
exactly.
Ray Meyer team and the Cubs in '69.
Ray Meyer, excuse me. Yes.
Yeah.
That 69 season, the Cubs are up 10 games at the start of September. And by the end of September, they're out of it. The Mets, the amazing Mets, overtake them, go on to win the World Series. I was scarred for years, man.
Everybody was. But then, you know what? I like the '69 team. Okay, I'm older, but I know the people. I like the '69 team better than the team that won in 2016.
I'm with you.
Big time.
Yep.
Big time. It's a shame.
And
It's a shame.
Yeah.
You had a better manager in DeRocher.
Absolutely.
You had a better you had Sano, Kessinger, Beckert, and Banks.
There you go. That's your
You had 4 All-Stars. You had Randy Hundley caught 100. See, that's the problem. One year, Randy Hundley caught 162 games. The guy would lose in 1969. He'd replenish himself, but he'd lose 8-9 pounds a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they had Paul Popovich. They had some. They didn't have a bench, but you had Fergie. You had Kenny Holtzman. I loved that team, and I was a White Sox fan, but I loved that team.
Yeah, it was a that kind of a team that lovable losers, is what they were known
bad.
as. Yeah,
I felt bad because I told my dad too. The writing was on the wall. I said, "I'm not going to school. I'm going to work the World Series." So, I mean, that's it. I mean, and then it went away. So
yeah, so sad. And it's funny.
They didn't play night games, so I didn't vend in September.
Yeah.
But I told him I'm working the World Series no matter what. And then there was no World Series.
And it's funny that earlier on you said that was one of the hottest summers, and that's what killed that team. DeRocher did not rest those starters, and by the time September came along, they were dragging, man.
Yeah, I felt bad.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever felt worse for a great group of guys. I mean, Fergie's one of the great guys of all time.
Yeah,
Santa wasn't. Really wasn't. He called out Don Young. He made some mistakes as the captain of that team, and he was. I saw him throw a tantrum, as he was walking out of the clubhouse one day with somebody.
Really,
So I liked Ronnie, but I mean, Santa wasn't what people thought he was as an announcer, the lovable guy.
Yeah, right.
He had a red ass, which is fine. Then Kessinger was a great guy. Glenn Beckert, great man. Ernie. I revere Ernie Banks, Billy Williams. I mean, you had players on that team. Randy Hunt. I went to the Cub fantasy camp. I didn't go to the Sox fantasy camp because they were the personalities.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I was on teams. I mean, we were coached by Mo Drabowski and Joe Pepitone. Those are cool. And Mo Drabowski, what a maniac he was.
Yeah, Mo and Joe, right?
Joe was hammered by 9. We got lit up. It was the best. And Jimmy Pearsall was there. I mean, it was awesome.
Did you ever have any problems with Jimmy Pearsall?
No. He told the truth.
Yeah.
He told the truth. I never had problems with Jimmy. The only thing we made fun of him when he talked about a drill he did, ball, wall, ball. I throw the ball up against the wall, and the ball goes off the wall, and the ball hits the wall. Then I said, but when the ball hits the wall, does the ball bounce off the wall, or does the ball get picked up and you throw it against the wall? Don't start, Mike.
Who's on first, man?
Oh, it was great.
It sounded like
Jimmy was the best. He told the truth.
I love
Corey Patterson sucks. He said it right on the air, and I said, I agree. Everybody at Corey Patterson is the next Willie Mays.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Oh, man. All right. Everybody in the chat room is saying, okay, Mike, make us some money here. Q wants to know, what sleeper team does Mike like to win over the Toto?
Okay, here we go. I'm going to go to the total here on my
Q
iPad.
from Cincy, Quintez, Motley. Every time we send out a notice saying that Mike North is going to be on the Barroom Network, Q dropped whatever he's doing and he tunes in. Thanks a lot, Q. Really appreciate it.
Q's one of the best, man.
He's been following you since the Fox Radio days, right?
Oh, big time. Q's the pride and joy of Cincinnati. What a year he had in football.
Yeah, how about it?
Too bad it's over.
Mitchell Trubisky.
By the way, I got some news for everybody. This should thrill every one of you. And when I say every one of you, I mean every one of you. I already bet the over 7.5. That's the gift that keeps on giving. Are you kidding me? With Mitch Trubisky, the Steelers are going to go 7-10?
Yeah.
Give me a break, boys. Although, if they go under 7.5, I'll be in Algiers. I won't be back for a year. All right. But if they go over, if they make the playoffs, it's going to be fun. All right, here we go.
All right, sleeper teams here.
It's like we never took the day off, isn't it?
Mule says
All
that
right.
he got the Cubs winning a phenomenal 72 games. Come on, Mule.
Mule, I'm with you. I mean, it's hard to go. It's hard to go with them, you know.
Absolutely.
Right. The first one, under Tiger, 78.5.
Under Tiger.
Okay.
78.5. Got it.
Under Rockies, 69.5.
69.
Okay.
Rockies. Got it.
And under Royals, 75.5. I look to the Sox. I wouldn't touch them. If you want to put couch change on the over 74 for the Cubs, I think Marcus Stroman is a hell of an addition for that team.
Oh, yeah.
As the lead dog. It's sort of funny. He didn't want to pitch for La Russa because he had a DUI. Yet he's pitching for the Cubs. Every other storefront, there's a bar. I'm surprised they don't have a roller coaster going right into the bars. From the people can ride it.
What do you think about this starting rotation? Hendricks, Steele, Stroman, Drew Smiley, and Alec Mills. Do you think that there's any hope for this starting rotation to maybe between all five of them win 50 games?
You know what's going to be big? What people underrate the bullpen. Their bullpen. The White Sox bullpen looks pretty good. That's one of the reasons, because it used to be the starters were the most important guys. It's no longer that case. You know how many games I've been winning in the 5th and 6th inning, and all of a sudden they go, he's taking them out. They're going to let him rest. Well, why? He's giving up 1 run, and then the relievers come in and they give up 4 runs, and you lose in the last 3 innings.
That's
right. And so it's up to the bullpens, and the Cubs bullpen, because I don't think the starters, they're not trained to go deep.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not trained to go deep. And
different game.
And the White Sox got a bullpen, and I'm glad, by the way. What a steal, Pollock, for that Kimbrel. What a steal that was. Oh my God, get rid of that guy.
Yeah.
He couldn't pitch anything but the 9th. Right? What are you, nuts? Pretend the 8th inning's the 9th inning. Just go in there and pitch.
Yeah.
We're setting the bullpen. So that's why the Sox maybe leaned over the total. Cubs maybe lean over the total, but somebody's got to come through in those bullpens, man. Because like I said, if you bet baseball like I do, there's been games I was winning 5-2 in the 7th inning, and then the manager comes out. No! And bang, boom, bang, pow, balls flying all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Joe Madden couldn't wait to go to the bullpen last year. Bing, bang, bong.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, Fergie, going back to the 69 Cubs in that era, Fergie Jenkins had how many complete games back then? He would have like 20 complete games. You rarely see a pitcher with 2 complete games now.
Look up Warren Spahn.
Warren Spahn.
Look up Warren Spahn and then look up his stats and look up the complete games by one of the greatest pitchers never talked about. He won 20 games 13 times when guys could hit.
That's right.
With Mays.
Yeah.
Clemente. I mean, like Stan Musial. This guy won 20 games 13 times, 356 games, and nobody talks about him. With the Braves, he won them.
Yep. Look at this, 1949, 25 complete games. The following year, 25, 26, 19, 24, 23, 16, 20, 18, 23, 21, 18, 21, 22, 22 complete games. I mean, that's consecutive seasons.
How many games did he win when he pitched for the Mets at 40 years old?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Mets,
This is a guy in his last legs, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, I think his first year with the Mets, he went off the charts.
He went off the charts the wrong way. 4-12 is what I got him at.
Oh, sorry, that's the only one you got.
Yeah, that's the only one I got.
Sorry, Warren. Didn't mean to get you. Oh, but I will tell you what. He won 356. I thought he had a winning year with the Mets, but thank God I've been corrected. Of course, nobody's asked me about it. He may be the best. Sandy Koufax was great, but Warren Spahn, 13, 20-game years and durability.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he could hit. Oh, by the way, there's no hitting anymore for the pitchers.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
What do you think about that, Mike?
If you're betting the team, you don't want the pitcher up. If you're betting against the team, you want a pitcher up. So now it's like the American League, where, Frank Thomas doesn't play 4 or 5 more years without the DH.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Jackson, too. Think about all the guys. Harold Baines. My God, these guys play because of the DH. So it was going to happen. So I'm good with it.
Mike, you ever bet on cricket?
No, but I was tempted to bet table tennis the other day. There was a table tennis match.
Really?
In Korea. Yeah, there was nothing on TV. So I said, "Ooh, table tennis." And then I said, "Nah, that's the height of being a degenerate." If you're betting table tennis.
That's right.
And they probably fixed the matches.
Yeah, it must have been the same day where I was watching curling.
I love curling.
Yeah, I love it too. A few days ago, I couldn't find anything on TV, and there's curling, and it's women's curling. I go, I'll watch these good-looking women throw that big thing around. It was fun, great stuff.
Good-looking women throwing a big thing around. That's a promo.
I didn't mean to say that, but
that's all right. We run a clean show here. And for the guy that says I look like an angry John Fogerty, you're right.
Look like Tom Watson, John Fogerty. Who else?
An angry John Fogerty. Oh, heaven loves Lodi. Okay, he's still rolling. John Fogerty looks good.
Yeah, awesome.
Jagger 78. He had work done.
Yeah. Did you see the Grammys this past Sunday?
No, I passed. I don't have to see John Legend. I was raised. Well, this doesn't sound right. I was raised with Liberace. Okay, I'm gonna watch John Legend play a piano.
Who was it that played Liberace with Michael Douglas? It wasn't Michael Douglas.
Him and Matt Damon. Each other.
That was a good movie, man.
Oh, it was a great movie. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Thorson.
King Pookie.
Michael Douglas should have won an Academy Award for playing Liberace. God, he had him down, man.
Yes, he did. What about that slapping competition that happened at the Oscars? Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Did you bet on that one? Oh, you muted again. You muted again. We have to put a tape on that thing. No, still press the right button. There you go. Oh, now I can hardly hear you. What happened?
When you're having mad sex, I fell off the bed. You got to describe the action. All I'm going to tell you is this.
Hold on, I can't hear you. No, barely.
What?
There.
There we go.
Okay, perfect.
Will Smith, I'll say it for the third time. I never liked the guy. Ever since he made Wild Wild West, my buddy, Robert Conrad, great story. I see Robert Conrad on Rosebud on Rush.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the bar. I go, hey, man, Mike North. I work at the Score, Sports Radio 670. He goes, Mike, I know who you are. Because he was friends with Larry Manetti, Chicago guy.
Yeah.
Who was in Magnum PI.
Mm-hmm.
And friends with other notorious types, if you will, from Chicago.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, why don't you come on the show tomorrow? I loved Wild Wild West. He goes, sure. I go, here's my number. My producer, Jesse Rogers, will pick up the phone if you call. He goes, I'll call. What time you on? I go, I'm on from 10 to 2 with Dan tickets. He goes, no problem. I'll call you tomorrow about 11. I go, great. 11 o'clock comes. He calls up the Score. He goes, yeah, is Mike there? It's Robert Conrad. And Jesse goes, I know you're a friend of Mike's, but he has no time to talk to you right now.
Oh, my God.
Jesse didn't know who it was. Okay, and he hung up the phone. I go, call him back. Because, we screen calls.
Right.
There he is. How did Will Smith play Ron? Come on. One of the great shows ever.
Yep. Really.
And I've never liked him since. I think he's overrated as an actor. I give him congratulations on the Oscar. You're an asswipe, though, for what you did.
Yeah.
You're indicative of some of the hypocrisy that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go up on a stage and you hit somebody, and the Academy, shame on you. He should have been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You can't assault guys. You can't assault somebody.
Yeah,
and then he didn't leave when he was asked to leave. Huh? Come on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many times Lee Marvin probably wanted to punch out the MC? Come on. Yeah. And he didn't. You got to show his strength.
Yep. There's a story that just came out. Magic Johnson was asked about when he had Howard Stern on as a guest on his struggling TV show. It was 3-4 weeks into the show. And Howard started saying, "Oh, you must have had fun getting AIDS." And that really pissed off Magic. He interrupted him and says, no, nobody has fun about AIDS. And not, as he recalls the story now, he says, "I wanted to punch Howard in the face right then and there."
Yeah. Well, so do I. All right. He's turned in. I mean, seriously, in this time, he was great, no doubt about it. But I mean, seriously, he's the male Oprah now. I mean, he's just I mean, seriously, I mean, he's taken the wrong turn somewhere. And, he criticizes a lot of people that, I remember he wished cancer on people. So, he bombed in Chicago, so I could care less. He was there for a short time. So I will tell you this, when you look at what he did, that's why comics are freaking out. They're afraid somebody else is going to do it. I don't think anybody will. He's a world-class asshole, that's all.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Inglewood asked, do you remember that time at the Sox game where a father and son ran out to the
memories? That's still unbelievable. Yes. That's still unbelievable. Those guys
beat up.
Man, the guys umpiring first, and two guys, one guy low bridges him. And everybody, yeah! Wow. Sox fans, that's back in the day where shirts were optional.
That's right.
Half the fan base didn't wear shirts. Hell, the bleachers at Cubs games, nobody wore a shirt back in the day, including some of the women.
That's right. But that act of father and son beating up the umpire is still more forgivable than what Will Smith did.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I would like to remind everybody that thinks Tiger Woods, if he wins, would make an all-time great comeback. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. But I would like to also tell people there's other people that have done amazing things. Monty Stratton pitched for the White Sox on one leg in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Abbott threw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Had one arm.
One arm, yeah.
And also fielded position. Ben Hogan. So Tiger is amongst the elites just to be out there. Mm. But I don't want to diminish what other people, the impossibilities that other people have done with limited playing at the major league level. Jim Abbott, to me, is still one of the most amazing stories of all time. Mm-hmm. Pitching with one hand in the major leagues and being successful.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. About time.
Free Pete Rose and Shoeless Jackson, says Bearstown 19. My good buddy Greg.
I'm with them.
Yeah,
Let's go. Come on.
It's ridiculous that these guys haven't. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you this. I know we just got a couple minutes left because we want to see Tiger tee off.
Yeah.
White Sox Dave, who is from the Barstool Sports Network, very popular guy. Last year when the White Sox were in the playoffs, they had a home game. He goes up to John Cusack and he says, "You don't belong here because you're a Cubs fan." Now, and so they get into it and so forth. My feeling on that is, does White Sox Dave know that John Cusack played Shoeless Joe Jackson? And just by that thing alone, he deserves to go to any Sox game that he wants. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you should be able to go to any Sox game you want, no matter what. Mm-hmm. I mean, I should be able to go to any Cub game. I mean, I used to have people, yell to me if I had season tickets for 2 years to the Cub games, and people would yell, "Hey, North, get out of here!" So you got to take a little heat. But Cusack fought back with the guy, which I liked. and Cusack made some good points. But yeah, playing Shoeless Joe gives him some insight. I think I'm at the point now. Look. All right, I saw Billy Wade play quarterback, so just look him up, and you'll know how old. I don't give a shit. I want the Cubs or Sox. I don't give a shit. Okay, make the playoffs. Yeah. Bears make the playoffs. I have another team, Pittsburgh, make the playoffs. What makes me happy is Chicago teams doing well. What makes me sad is Chicago teams that could be doing well, but because of management, they don't do well.
Yep.
And I think we can all agree that at times throughout our lives, every front office, Blackhawks, Cubs, Sox, Bears, and Bulls have all shit to bed for decades sometimes because of bad leadership. Period.
Yep. Very well put. Hey, a couple of quick questions before we get out of here. Chris Watts wants to know who would win a fight between the Cubs and White Sox fans.
First of all, Chris, just tweet your stuff out and I'll tweet it. Don't private message me. Okay. Number one. No, it's great. I hear from Chris. I get the private messages. Chris going, I just told a guy to go screw off because he hates the Bears. He's in Australia. I know Chris.
He's in Leeds.
Believe me when I tell you this. Right now, back in the day, White Sox fans. I'm going to go White Sox fans now too.
Yeah. I think so too. Blue collar.
The White Sox fans would be outnumbered, but they're like the Ukraine. Come get us. We're waiting for you. We got something for you. You know.
That's right. Yeah. And then at first, when I saw this question, I said, "Come on, King Pookie, why would you ask that?" But maybe you did meet this guy, Jackie Robinson. You ever meet him?
No.
Okay.
I met Muhammad Ali though.
Yeah, you met. I mean, you've met.
I met Muhammad Ali. I met Jesse Jackson's a friend. I mean, I met some great guys, some great civil rights leaders. Ernie, we had the statue built for Ernie. Jackie Robinson lived such a short life.
Yes,
now that I think about it, how the hell would I have met Jackie Robinson?
That's what I was thinking when I saw the question.
Am I still on? I just hit the mute button.
No, you're fine. That's what I thought.
But Jackie Robinson.
Oh, you went off again. Don't touch that microphone. That mute button is in the worst place. I love seeing Mike play audio technician. There you go.
Jackie Robinson died much too young. Diabetes.
Yeah.
I could teach a class on African American history. Everybody knows that.
You wrote for the Defender.
Yeah. Anybody. I mean, you don't have to be black to know African American history if you love the culture. Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey should be tied at the hip because Branch Rickey took as much heat, if not more, from white people as Jackie Robinson did. Jackie Robinson took heat from hardcore racists, which there were plenty of. Branch Rickey took heat from everybody. And it takes two to tango. Probably the most underrated duo in sports history. Branch Rickey and Jackie Robinson, period.
Yeah. Well said. And that's a great note to end the show.
I'm trying to keep my hand off the mute button.
I tell you.
People have been wishing that forever. I ain't going nowhere, man. I ain't going anywhere. Never knock me down, Ray. Never knock me down, Ray. I'm not going down, Ray. I'm right here, Ray. But whatever.
I love it. He is
I'm going to put my Tiger Woods. Won't make the cut bet in at plus 102. Hey, and if he makes the cut, bravo. Good for him.
Mike, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll be on AM 1000 tomorrow at 11:48. Well, no, they moved. Carmen Yurko moved. I don't have the set time yet. Between 12 and 2, I'll be on tomorrow. They're moving their time. But I'll be on the Odds Couple tomorrow night at 7 o'clock and then Friday morning at 8 o'clock. And always just keep checking the Bears Barroom. Great shows. Greg Gabriel does a great job getting the job done. Check out our show, and listen to the nonsense. And what's good about it, if you listen to 10, 15 minutes, you'll get an education.
Yeah, that's right. And make sure you follow Mike North at North to North on the Twitter. At Barroom Network. And that's it for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Bye-bye.